Alright YouTube, we're back in Terra-firma-craft, and I set it to peaceful just because I was really annoyed at the sun going down. It's about to come up now, but I've collected a whole lot of stuff with the pick we made, and if I grab it here, oops, you can see it's already below half durability. Which means we're going to have to make a new one really soon. Now, I did dig this out. This is where we're going to start a mine shaft. I don't have a prospector's pick. So, this was just a guesstimate. And, I have been around looking for stuff. Most of what I've found is either cassiterite or bismuth, which are two kind of really annoying things to find. A lot of bismuth, a lot of cassiterite. Rich cassiterite, though. And I found some more hematites, which will come in handy when we finally get things a-rolling. And actually, I forgot something up here. I've also been getting some wood. As you can see, this is all acacia, this is all kapok, this is sycamore, and then these are like the exotic woods, maple, white elm, and white cedar that I brought from elsewhere. And I've been growing them out here, cutting them down as they grow. Haven't gotten those two yet, obviously. Go away. And I think the next thing I'm going to do, I did say I was going to try and get into mining, but since I doubt that this mine is actually going to go anywhere, it was just kind of to show you how these work, which I'll get into in a second, or in a minute. Yeah, we'll be moving a little bit. So, this is I don't think it's a forge. What is it, a foundry? It's some contraption, basically. It's just rock all the way around. You can make cobblestone by just putting a whole bunch of the rocks that you find in the ground in a 2x2 pattern in your crafting. Kind of like making a workbench. But for this experiment, we're going to need coal. And, let's see here. I did grab exactly 8 coal, which is awesome. And I will show you in a second when this happens, but... Oops, no. You don't drop it in, you place it down. Isn't that awesome? I think that's really awesome. Now you can do this with not charcoal. I use charcoal here. If you do it with regular coal, you have to have 9, and you have to actually make a block of coal and then place it in there. But then, that happens, and you can click on it, and it'll show this. So now we need some fuel, and apparently the tool to take coal up, which makes perfect sense to me now, is a shovel. And I will get more into that in a second, but, oops, didn't mean to do that. This is cold right now. You can relight it. But one of the things that I want to do is see if we can't have this copper ingot go into a mold. Now, I kind of want the prospector's pick mold. Oops, I forgot we were going to. Now, it should go into mold, and I'll explain the GUI here in a second. It should go into the mold that is next. So basically you have the coal slots. This is for your fuel. I believe you can put in wood, but it doesn't get as hot as charcoal or coal. And then these slots are for whatever you're heating. You can put in armor and ingots, but it will not heat up ore. You have to heat up ore in another way. Either by doing a little pot thing or by a further step of this called a bloomery, I believe. Or the forge, maybe this is the bloomery. I forget which one. But then, and I forget which one it is. I think it's the top one goes first. Actually, hold on, we can shift click and see, can't we? Well, yeah. So the top one is the first slot. We can put one there just to make sure. But this is the slot that will get hottest. It heats up everything at once. The middle one gets hottest, then these two, and then these two. And the fuel expends the same way. This one first, then these two, then these two. And if we relight it here, Yeah, just like that. We've already lost a piece of coal, which is fine. You can see that the asterisks, or the stars, are going up next to the temperature there. It's hot. And eventually it will melt, and if I didn't have these two things here, it would melt and just disappear, and I'd lost it. But since I have the ceramic mold here, and hopefully it'll go into this mold, but if not, it'll go into this one, and we'll still save it. Yeah, this is what I'm hoping. Because you can't remelt ingots in the pot method that we've been doing. It has to be in this method. And this is the temperature gauge, if you couldn't tell. This is common. I think you see this in the fire pit as well. Same gauge. Yeah. So I think it'll take a little bit to get hot enough. And I'm just going to dig some of this out while we wait. But apparently coal layers like snow. And you can store it like this too. So if I really needed to like put a whole bunch of coal down and I didn't want to stick it in a chest, I could physically put it on the ground. If I wanted to. But I think it stores better in chests because you can still put it in stacks of 64, I believe. And I'm going to leave... Oh, there goes my shovel. So I guess we'll leave all of that. And I will try not to fall back in. You have to click on the hot part. Alright, bright red, can work. The can work refers to the anvil. If you get a hammer, you can use a solid flat piece of stone, I don't see one around here, as an anvil. But we don't have that capability yet because we're not using plans yet. Which, you know, is semi-unfortunate. Okay, now it can be welded and it can work. Welding is used to make bloomery, and now it's coming up with the danger symbol. Please go into the right mold. Pretty please. With sugar on top. No, it did not. So, if we put it here, it will, I think, cool off until it's solid, but it'll stay warm. And I don't know why these won't go into that mold. Kind of makes me mad. But we would have to keep the furnace lit, and I don't want to waste charcoal doing that. So that's disappointing that it won't do that. I guess I kind of messed up because I do have this guy as well, which isn't full. It's barely full at all, but, you know. Hindsight is 20/20. So, as far as copper goes, we have this one piece here. That's about it. Now, I could make bronze to save a little bit of copper, ratio-wise, but you need the biggest split is 3 ways, and you need 50% copper. So I would need at least 2 copper and then one of either or to get an even enough split to actually make the alloy. And I would need more than that to actually fill a, oops, I forgot to actually fill the mold. Which is unfortunate. I should have just filled the mold when I had the chance. Any mold would have done. Alright, so next up, we have, let me just put these two here. We have these things. Vertical and horizontal support beams. Now these things are actually pretty cool. And this is what my next project's gonna be. I need water. Actually, I need food too. So let's get some food real quick. I know this is bad food, but whatever. I have been slowly expanding the garden. It's not actually been that fast. I thought it would go a little bit faster. So yeah. I got a lot of tomatoes, though. Anyway, the supports you use for cave-ins, right? So, this support beam supports the roof up till there. If I go one more further, I run the risk of having a collapse, right? And, when stone like this collapses, it turns into cobblestone when it falls. And I dug downstairs like we were going to continue with the mine shaft, although we probably won't, at least not that far, and not right now. But support beams can also be used to make multiple levels of a floor in a house. Oh, come on. There we go. So, now I forget how far you can come off of one. There. That's about as far as you can come off one, so technically I could double this if I had another beam out here. Let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So a single support beam can hold 4 out from it, including the horizontal ones. So if this right here, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So means I can go to here, and I need another one. And then I can come 1, 2, 3, 4 out. So that is as wide as I can go with support beams. Now, technically, I don't have to have these two touching in order for them to work. There can be a 4 wide gap there. Actually, there can be an 8 wide gap there because they each hold 4 further than they are. But if you want them to look nice, this is what you need. Now, my plan, and it's going to be sundown before I get through all this. My plan is to have setups like this, or, you know, spread out and everything. Make a house the way a house would be made. So I would actually have them go up a little bit higher as well. But I would have planks form the walls, right? You know how the planks work? I'm not sure if I've shown you. But they can be placed... Oh, no, they can't. I thought they could. Well, I can place them out one. It's fine. And then have them come up, you know. And I might have the top ones showing, I'm not sure. But they would hold in place the floor above them. Which I would want to make out of stone. And this is going to take a while to beat down. Which, you know, allows us to make a pretty cool house. Ooh, that's a cool tree. I forget what kind of tree this is. I like how the leaves turn colors with the season. It's autumn, so yeah. Only the jungle trees have green leaves still. So that's my plan of how we're going to build a house. Now, I'm not going to start building until we finally get a prospector's pick, so that I can build next to a place that has a decent amount of copper, at least in the local area. I'm hoping to get at least a medium or average, I forget what the descriptive word, the adjective is. Medium or average deposit, whatever it is. Do these things just, yeah, you break one and they kind of, you know, domino down. Which is nice, but if a creeper hits my house, it could cause a problem. A major problem. So I've started to put a roof on this thing, just for fun. This is kind of going to be our starter shack. As you can see, it is very starter shacky, even has a sinkhole next to it. And let's see, what else? I've been doing some other stuff. I'm not sure if I want to get into it. We'll have to move this. This isn't such a big thing to move. In fact, is this? Yeah, this is out of its mold. I mean, unless there's a way to put these two things in the craft bench when one's liquid, I don't foresee this being something we can do right now. And I need more copper. And I have been in caves, and I have been going down ravines looking for stuff. Mostly what I've found, again, is just sphalerite, or cassiterite, some sphalerite, and bismuth. I haven't found any actual sphalerite, though, which is annoying. So yeah. And I don't think that silver and or gold are hard enough metals to actually form, which is annoying. And I haven't actually found very much lead, which is kind of weird. I don't know. I haven't looked on the website for lead specifically, but I forget what I used. I'm not sure what this melts into. I'm not sure what this melts into. I know what that does. Pretty sure I know what everything else does, but these two. This one I think might be lead, but I'm not sure. So actually, one thing we can do... Are these two empty? Yeah. Let's test this, shall we? Boom and boom. And then I think I have some grass actually inside. And then we'll need 8 of you. And I've been using this type of wood just because it's easy to come by. Oops. Don't mean that. Seriously? Fine. And watch it be the first try on this one. No? Okay, there we go. I guess I should go ahead and put these supports up. I've also been using ladders to get up and down things, so if I'm ever wandering around and you see a ladder in the background, that is why. I guess I can put these away. I'll organize those chests again later. Oops. Forgot one thing. So, I'm not gonna well, maybe I can. Nah. I won't. But basically, this is how I would do a mine shaft. It gives you a wide enough berth on either side for support beams and such. And then I'd go down, you know, this many, and then on this level, I'd come out, let's see, 3 more, and this is 3 high, correct? So from here, it would be this one. And this is actually semi-safe. Technically, it can still collapse, but it's not likely. It's if I started digging on these ones now, that's when it would have a high chance of collapsing. And these ones are completely safe because I'm digging down and there's nowhere for them to collapse to. But basically, I would dig this one out, and this would be the risky one. You know, technically it could collapse here. There is a little bit of a safer way to do it, but not very much of a safer way to do it, so I prefer to do it this way because it gets you a little bit extra length on your tunnel. And then you would put in more cross beams, support beams. And we can go ahead and do that. Some of these and some of these. And and then you can dig out this next row. And this is so tedious, and it eats up your pickaxe. Granted, I have the weakest pickaxe I think there is. Maybe rose gold is a little bit of a weaker pickaxe, but I'm not sure. And see, like, I can start from the bottom now. Usually you want to start from the top because it prevents cave-ins. But this block isn't supported. This block right here. But this block is. So if I dig here, technically the one above it does have a chance to cave in right there. But it doesn't matter because it's one I'm going to dig out anyway. Technically that one had a chance to cave in. But this one doesn't because it's supported. And like I said, they support 4 out, and yeah. So then I would dig 1, 2, 3, 4 that way, and then start the stairs on this next row here, much like I did here. And that just allows you to keep it from caving in on you, in my mind. There are different ways to do it. There are easier, there are more difficult and intricate ways to do it. Technically, I don't need any of these, well, actually, I kind of do, but after as long as I'm not going to dig on the roof anymore, after I've dug out to this far, like on this one, if I dig out as far as I did on this one, I can remove the horizontal ones. And I suppose technically I can move the vertical ones, but yeah. And I'm not sure if removing supports causes a chain reaction at all. Need more food. It's actually been difficult, and I don't eat as much as I do on cameras. I do off camera. Just because it's boring to have to run over here all the time, but yeah. Okay. And I do believe that the jugs actually have a small % chance of breaking after each use, but it is very, very minimal. So these, I'm not sure if that's ready to harvest. It looks like it is, but I'm not positive, so I won't yet. But I've been using soy as most of my protein, which is probably bad. There are some pigs, but I've not had the patience to lure them over, plus this isn't where we're actually going to be living. I think this is the white cedar, and this is the sycamore. I forget what this is. That's probably the acacia. This... maybe not, because I think that those ones over there are the acacia. I think that that bark is a little bit grayer than that bark. It looks like more like that bark, actually. So I'm not sure what this is. This might be the white... whatever, the other one. We have white cedar and white something else. White elm. It might be white elm. Doesn't really look like it now that I say that, though. Now I'm curious, because I forget what I planted up here. Oh, that was... yeah, it's white elm. Wow, okay. So I make sure that I get at least one sapling off of each tree before I cut it down. Well, I hope to get at least one sapling off of each tree. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Apparently these acacia trees are very, very hard to get saplings off of. Or maybe they're impossible, because I'm not sure if I've gotten one yet. Which is kind of why I've been dividing up the wood into different types. Because I want to keep the acacia, because it looks good. The kapok just looks purple and kind of doesn't go with anything. The sycamore just looks like regular wood. So does the maple, I believe. The white elm looks kind of greenish, and the white cedar looks like white stained wood. So, yeah. As you would be expected. Okay, so let's see if either of these melt into anything. No, and no. Of course not. So that was just a waste of time. At least they don't melt at the temperatures of the ceramic vases. Vases? I'm surprised, well, I guess lead does have a low melting point. Anyway, so that's my plans. This was kind of more of an update episode and a kind of Hail Mary pass to see if that mold would melt into, or if the copper would melt into the mold. But it didn't. And I apologize. I should have had the forethought of there not being a lot of copper around here for some reason. But one of these times off camera, I will just show up with a whole bunch of copper because I will run way off into the distance, probably that direction, maybe that direction, I don't know. And come back with just a whole bunch of copper. Maybe next episode, maybe. Depends on how much free time I get to play this. Anyway, I've been Remy. This has been Terra-firma-craft, Minecraft mod. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.